Well, good Saturday afternoon, everybody. My name is Jay Edgar, and this is Ed Talk. If you are new to this program here, I generally take some time every weekday morning, and I read the news headlines for you guys every day, but I don't interact with the live chat during the day, so I take some time every couple weeks or so, and I've been lacking in it for a little while, but I take a little bit of time every couple weeks or so, and sit down and talk to you guys and let you guys decide what it is that you want to talk about, and that is what we're doing here. So, also, if you're new to the program, if you've never seen us before, we make the deal once again. If you guys can get me up to the point where we have 20 people concurrently live chatting at the same time, and I will go back and check the numbers. If you guys get me up to those numbers, then we will go for 90 minutes. Otherwise, this is 60 minutes of pure your time. Now, I don't know actually how good of a turnout we're going to have for the day here, because this is Mother's Day weekend, and I understand that. So hopefully a lot of you guys took some time and spent the weekend with your ma, or your old lady, if that's the case. But I do hope that we get some time. I actually didn't realize it was Mother's Day weekend this weekend, to be completely honest. I thought it was next weekend. So somebody reminded me of this over the weekend, so I think some of my plans have changed. We'll figure out what's going on with that. But we'll see what's happening there. Other little bit of side note that we have going on here is that I do have the call-in show room open. So throughout the program, or in the description below, you will go look down and you will see a Discord link for the Discord server on which I host the show. And if you get into there, you can call into this program. I'm not going to be doing phone calls on this one here because, well, we had one guy fucking ruin it, and, you know, he's got to be that guy, but it is what it is. So as I get more trust and more ideas of who's going to be in, we'll start to get more of the actual physical phone line in, so we can get some more calls and reach out to more people. But if you guys do want to call in, head into the Discord server, enter the waiting room in the voice chat so I know to pull you in, and then go into, there's a channel that's set aside that says pick me, and that's where you're going to need to be. All right, let's see what we've got here for information for us here. Let's see who's here. Doesn't look like I've got much chatter going on over here. I got Quest Fanning up here. It says hi, folks. But other than that, I haven't seen anything here. So we're going to talk about a few things anyway. So, well, that's where it's going to be. So, the first thing I want to talk about today while we're getting started is the Honkler-in-Chief, President Joseph Biden. Because I got to wonder if when we start to call this dude a failure. I really do. Because it's looking like he's hit that point at this point. He is an absolute 100% failure in everything that he's tried to do. And I don't know what the other answer to this is. Now, I look back at a couple things, and I look back at the way that they would have treated this administration, and it's the jobs report that really pushed this to me. Now, of course, we're sitting back and we're looking at the fact that the border is a crisis and it won't let up anywhere. We're looking at various things of what's happening in our administration. We're looking at all kinds of different things in this administration. And I don't see where you call it a success. Even if you could sit back and try to call this the previous administration's economy, which you could. A lot of people have. The fucking Honkler in chief himself has tried to do that. And I don't know. Well, first of all, I look back to this and say, well, let's look back at the last administration. I don't like to do this on my morning show because I do try to move on to the next, to the current administration because he needs to be memed out of fucking existence. And I don't even, like, when I say flip the parties, flip the tables, I don't even use the Donald as my specific go-to person of who we're going to flip the tables for. When I start to talk about this, that's one of the things that I look at is, okay, let's see what would happen if it's DeSantis, because he looks like he's going to be the front runner for 2024. What if it was DeSantis? What if it was Haley? What if it was Matt fucking Gaetz? Oh, God help us all if he ever gets anywhere close to the fucking White House. Ugh, that scares me. Quest Fanning says Biden makes Carter look like a dynamo. I guess I don't know what you mean by that, but, well, we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, I did like the fact that, and I love the idea of the fact that they went in and they visited with the Carters. And officially when they visited with the Carters, first of all, that wide lens, and I'm going to tell you about this because everybody else has told you about this at this point, but with that wide-angle cat-eyes lens that we see off of this, we're looking at the Carters and they look, what was it that Shapiro said earlier on? I think it was Shapiro that said that Rosalind Carter looked like Joe Biden's ventriloquist dummy in that picture because they're so tiny. And I mean, I don't know if I remember correctly, because Carter was before my time. I was born in 84 and he was out by 81, I think. Was it 80 or 81 or 78? Was it? No, it would have been 80. It would have been the 80 election for 1981's inauguration. He was pushed out at this point. And, well, I don't remember a lot about him himself, but I remember when he had a cameo on King of the Hill. I remember that. And when he was standing next to Hank, he was like Cotton Hill size. He was a tiny dude. So he's not a big guy. And I would assume that neither is Rosalind, but once again, this is looking back to a time that's before my time. But they're also both almost 100 years old. How tall are they? How tall are Jimmy and Rosalind at this point? Is this an accurate depiction of them, or what's the story with that? I don't know. But we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, it's just a lot of the framing that goes along with that too. It's weird how that goes. So, but once again, they go in there, no mask, and then they leave and put their fucking masks on. What kind of an example does this show? Does Carter just say, I don't give a fuck, I'm not wearing a mask? I mean, Jimmy is invincible. Jimmy Carter is absolutely invincible because he is not going to die until the last guinea worm is eradicated from this planet. So he doesn't have to worry about a lot of disease, but I mean, on the rest of it, what else? Look like members of the Lollipop Guild. I never think of the Lollipop, like the movie The Wizard of Oz, when I hear that. What I always think of when I hear the Lollipop Guild is, I go back to Futurama. I know that Sully said that was the most underrated show in the world, but I look back to when it was Leela's dream, and then she had the ruby boots, and all these short characters from Futurama came out and made their little cameos as, as the Munchkins, and they come up and they said, "We resemble what is legally exempt from the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild." That's what I think of when I think of the Lollipop Guild. Let's see what else we have here. He was a submarine nuclear scientist. Squids tend to be short. Well, I don't know. Every squid that I've ever known has been tall for his or her age and gender. Like when I was in middle school, high school, I used to weight train with a local guy who came back from the Navy, and that dude was A, jacked beyond fucking belief. Like, jacked like you wouldn't believe. But then B, was also 6'2". There's a girl that she didn't go to the same high school as me because the town I grew up in was split between two high schools. One was to the south and one was to the north. But we grew up in the same town, so we knew each other. Her mom and dad used to babysit me when I was a kid, and my parents used to babysit her and her brothers and sisters when we were kids as well. So I've known her since 7, 8 years old. So little kids. And she's only a couple years younger than me anyway. But she also went off to the Navy and also actually wound up becoming jacked. She used to do bodybuilding competitions, that kind of stuff. But I think she is 5'8", 5'9", or something too. She's obviously tall for a girl in late 20s, early 30s, but not taller than me. But that's still fairly tall for a girl. So I've never seen. I take that back. I have seen the stereotype that the squids are short because I worked with a deer processing outfit. They were just working out of a garage at one point. I worked with them, and the biggest deer that we ever had come through there to go get processed up was brought in by a little squid, and the guy was like 5'4". He was like 5'4" at 120 pounds, soaking wet. So he is the short squid that I think of. But other than that, no, I've never seen that stereotype in practice. Maybe it's just a submarine thing. I have no idea. But everybody that I know that's been in the Navy has been quite tall. Even the Marines. The Marine that I was in one of my graduate programs with, he was also quite. I think he was a little bit taller than me too. So, Quest says sounds like he'd bump his head a lot. Well, that's only because you're used to New York City doorways, and from what I understand, they were built for the 18th century where people were not quite as tall as we are now. That's what I understand of Brooklyn, and once again, never been there, might be wrong. So, we'll see what happens with that. I saw it, speaking of Brooklyn, and I'm completely getting distracted, but this is Ed Talk, so I get distracted. We don't have to talk about what it is that's up on the screen. We can talk about it whatever the hell you guys want. And once again, we've also got the call-in room open if you guys want to get in there as well. But what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, I actually saw this morning while I was at work, I was over on Twitter, and I noticed somebody with a Breaking 911 handle on Twitter, but not the actual Breaking 911 handle, but that was the screen name, was Breaking 911, said that Brooklyn dad Defiant got his kids taken away from him. That is bullshit. That's not bullshit. I'm sorry, that is bullshit. That's not what happened. That is a parody account, which it would still be hilarious to me if he got his kids taken away, but there were a bunch of people that took that one in hook, line, and fucking sinker too, so yeah, there's that. I meant in the submarine. Oh, well yeah, there's that too. I don't know if Jamie ever went down in the submarine. I think he was on a carrier, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I know a lot of people that go to the Navy, though. There are a bunch of people that go to the Navy now. I don't know why they've got such a recruitment drive all of a sudden. It used to be the Air Force. The Air Force was the big one when I was a kid. The Air Force and the Guard. The Air Force and the National Guard were the ones who were recruiting left and right when I was in middle and high school. There was a guy in my class that actually signed up for the Guard when he was still 17. And I believe he stayed in there through his military career too, if I remember correctly. Both he and his older sister went into the Guard. And I think that's where they did all their military career work from. But yeah, those were the big drivers when I was younger. But now it seems like everybody you see is going to the Navy. Ha 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 ha, Nephilim. J. Edgar knows a lot of seamen. Ha 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 ha. You're not funny enough. You're not funny enough. Anyway, tell a few friends here. Let's see if we can get 10, 20 people in here chatting. I want to answer all your questions about this stuff. We can talk about the Honkler fucking presidency. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. This is your hour. This is your time, so let's make it some good time. Let's figure out what you guys are doing here. Quest Banning said Brooklyn Dad Defiant lives in New Jersey. Cannot confirm nor deny. I have heard that rumor before. I've heard that he's not actually a Brooklyn dad. I've heard that he's not a dad, but I don't know if that's true either. All I know is that he gets paid a whole butt ton of money to tweet, and he gets paid by a PAC that's paid for and funnels money through the DNC. And that he's just a little insufferable bitch, too. But he's totally grassroots. Don't worry about that. He is completely and totally grassroots. Nobody else could be more grassroots than Brooklyn Dad Defiant. You guys keep stay quiet in here like this. I'm gonna have to talk about the Honkler fucking presidency. I know we don't want to do that, but here we go with the jobs report. That blew my mind. And you guys were, well, it was actually kind of an empty room at the beginning when I was starting out on the Friday show rather. But I mean, you guys were there with me, and some of you guys probably went back and looked back at the replay of that show. But I mean, IBD and Market Watch were beside themselves. They were so excited at the time. They were absolutely pumped about the fact that, well, we're going to get millions of jobs. We're going to get 1.2 million jobs out of this jobs report. And unemployment's going to go away. And the Biden presidency is going to be the end all be all, the answer to everything, this and that and the next thing. And then, you know, as soon as I got off the air, I looked at it and I started looking around. I actually didn't look at it until I got to work. But I already saw the trend was only 266K. And I was wondering what that was. Only 266K. And then I actually found out later on that, yes, it was the jobs report. 266,000 jobs added in April. Not only that, unemployment ticked back up to 6.1%, which once again, that's not horrible given where we're at and how many jobs we lost and how many we actually have been gaining back over the past few months. I will give the Biden administration all the benefits of the doubt, which I know that they wouldn't give to any Republican or Libertarian candidate out there if the roles were reversed. And I always say if the roles were reversed. If this was DeSantis' presidency and just coming off of a great big recession like what we had and looking down the barrel of another recession, which we are probably going to get at this point, so brace yourselves up for that. As soon as I saw that jobs report, I started getting really, really serious about grabbing my real estate license because I need to make sure that everything is back. But I also wanted to make sure that we do push the where was I going with that? That we, damn, I lost my train of thought. That we push the donation links as well, because I got to make sure I'm taken care of. I got to make sure I'm fed, you guys. Luckily, I don't have a family that I'm trying to support off of this stuff, but I'm looking down the barrel of this and looking. I remember getting out of school right when the crash started coming down, right when everything started collapsing around Barack Obama and George W. Bush. Right when all that shit was starting, I was just getting out trying to get into the environment, and then you start hemorrhaging jobs left and right, which it looks like is what's about to happen right now, because in spite of the fact, and this isn't on the federal government either. That's one other thing to keep in mind with that. There's more going on than just what happens with the federal government. In fact, the federal government can't come in and shut down the economy as much as they want them to be able to do so. They have to go through certain other channels. They actually have to get the states to get on board with some of this stuff. So it's not like they can just, like Biden can just come in and say, okay, man, you're open now. All right, so start opening up, start doing business, you guys. He can't do that. He can't actually make that happen, but he can come out and he can start to urge the states to do so. But the federal government can't unilaterally do it. Quest Fanning says, is no one checking to make sure that the unemployed are trying to find a job? How are folks refusing to go back to work and still receiving the extra checks? There are a couple caveats that go along with that, actually. As long as, well, first off, it's state to state. Now, in my state, yes, you still have to have the proof that you found, I think it's 2 jobs a week. You have to apply for. You don't have to interview. You don't have to do anything else. You have to apply for 2 jobs a week in order to get your unemployment check every week, and you have to show documentation that you applied for 2 jobs a week in order to do that. But that is different from state to state. And I do think as well that there has been some suspension of that as we look at more and more. As the commie fucking coup ripped through the country and people knew that places were going to be shutting down left and right. I think that, like California suspended that. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that New York suspended that too. That they just said, okay, no, we're not going to worry about you going out and finding a job, and don't worry about looking because we know there are no jobs there because we, your benevolent state government, shut everything down. What was nice about living in Wisconsin is that Evers didn't really shut everything down in the same way as they saw it in other states. Random Randy is here. So I got notified, but your icon under subscriptions didn't show live. Oh well, I'm here. What the shit? I don't know how the mobile app works either, but yeah, what the shit? I'm here. Tell some friends. Tell them I'm here. Come on in. Let's get to doing this here. Let's get to talking. I hope I connected to the right event. Let me look. Is this the event? Like if you go and click on what was supposed to be coming up? That's the big question there. Otherwise, like I said, you can always go on to the D Live or the Twitch or even my fan Facebook page. You won't get my personal page. You can go on to my fan Facebook page and you can watch me all the same. Or you guys can go join my Instagram. That is instagram.com/jedgar102. And you won't get the same. Well, on this actually you get mostly the same program because I don't have the news up behind me or anything. But like for Contemporary, you won't get the news sitting behind me. But you will get to see my smiling face, and there is a link in the description on my Instagram as well that will bring you right back to the subscription page, the YouTube page. So you can go on, head on in there and hang out with me, and that's another way to get notified too. If you get more notifications off Instagram than you get off YouTube, except for the Red Ned Show, I always stream to both the Instagram and the YouTube. So there are many other ways that you can get notifications. And even if YouTube is your preferred platform, which I know it is for a lot of people, even if that is what you prefer, then absolutely still pop in there, hang out, come and join me. I got a person watching on Twitch and nobody's talking over there. I hope that they pop in and come and hang out. A couple people over on D Live. D Live is the shit. Plus, I'm automatically monetized by default over there. Trovo, I still have to get up to a certain amount of people before I can monetize. I don't even know how to monetize over there. I never have a monitor up for Trovo. I am getting excited. I do want to sit back and I'm ready to get the new computer up and running because then I can actually run the Trovo stream in the background and then see their chat and everything else that comes in there as well as the D Live, instead of having to go off 2 tablets that are sitting on my desk. And I'll probably still do that anyway, just for the hell of it and the help of it. But yeah, you can join me on these other platforms, and some of them are even better than YouTube, at least for notification. I mean, I don't get notifications for YouTube for when Steven goes live. I barely get them for when the Gen Gap goes live. For whatever reason, I get them for when Christensen goes live, but I've parted ways with Christensen at this point. But I still get I get the big corporate notifications like Tim Pool, shit like that. But yeah, I don't get any of the notifications on YouTube for any of my smaller level creators, all my smaller level friends. So you'll at least get the notifications from the other apps, even if you choose not to use them and chat with them, because some of them can be a little bit janky. You will still get the notifications. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying here. We're at 9. 9 people. If you guys can get to 20, we'll go for 90 minutes. Quest says this is why they should crack down on why they should crack down, not the damn IRS. I guess I'm not sure what you mean by that, Quest. Like the state governments and the unemployment boards? Yeah, absolutely, they should. Because the state unemployment board shouldn't be doing whatever the fuck they can to try and be paying out unemployment. I know that keeps them working and that keeps them in jobs and their cushy government jobs, but even still, the goal of unemployment should be getting people off of unemployment. Getting out there and producing for the state, because that helps the state's GDP, that helps you get more federal aid from the government. I don't understand why they're so against people going back to work, except for the fact that they love to have people up on the government dole. I remember that too. I mean, back when, I was in the bottom of the market, I never did qualify for unemployment. I think at one point I did, but I'm not the kind of person that'll take a government handout, even if I desperately need it. Plus, once again, at the time, no kids, just myself, cheap apartment in the depth of the fucking ghetto. Like, in the fucking ghetto. Like, sometimes afraid to come home at night in the fucking ghetto. That kind of ghetto. So, I could scrimp and save and eat ramen noodles, and I could get by at the time without having to have unemployment. I bought my vehicles for cash, so it was just a matter of making sure I had a little bit of money to put into the tank. And I did have a side under the table job too, but it didn't pay very well because it was a very, very small business that was starting up. But, it kept throwing fuel in the gas tank to get me to where I needed to go if I did need to go apply for a job. But for the most part, I did work, even if it was for 89 days at a time, so they didn't have to put you on they didn't have to start paying out your unemployment insurance or have to put you on the health care, which was another driver to this, was that people were taking temp jobs because then they didn't have to pay the health care for this, then they didn't have to get into the fucking Obamacare. But I remember I worked at it was a CarX at the time. It is a Monroe Brake Center now, but I worked there, and I remember it happened numerous times where people came in, no experience to be a mechanic, but they came in and they filled out the application, and when the guys were asking why they wanted to do this, that they really didn't want to do it. They had to have their two applications a week. And there was another guy at the time. I mean, you're looking at some of these other things too, where that was the standard when you're sitting in a recession like this, and there were people out there because you had to go around every place you could because you had to have 2 new applications a week. You couldn't go back and apply to the same place twice. You had to have 2 new applications a week in order to keep getting your unemployment. But there were guys that would go out there, they'd fill out their 2 a week, and then the boss of the place would look at this. Once again, one of these situations, not a single qualification for that guy. He was the least qualified person there was to go do the job. And the owner of the business said, okay, I'll hire you for minimum wage to go sweep up behind toolboxes. Because that would screw the person. He would either have to take the minimum wage job or turn it down. And guess what happens if you turn down a job while you're on unemployment? Your unemployment is over at that point. It's done. There are guys out there, business owners, that do that too, because, well, if you're just going out there to fill out applications for the sake of filling out applications, then that's kind of scummy. I don't understand how people do that either. I really don't. I mean, I look back at some of the things I've seen in my life. I don't understand how people sit on welfare or just sit on unemployment and don't want to go to work. That was what I wanted to do the most when I was unemployed, was get up and go to work. I got up every day at any point where I was unemployed, I was like, oh, I hope I get to go to work today. I really hope I get to go to work today. I don't understand the mentality behind that. I've never been able to wrap my head around this. Go out, do some work, bring some money into your household, and then go do whatever the hell else it is that you want to do. And I've known people too that sit on welfare forever and play fucking Madden all day. And some of them know how to game the system. I've seen a welfare case, this was back in the 90s, where you walk into the house is so unkempt that you can't hardly stand to be in there. But brand new big screen TV. This was before flat screen too, so that was when your big screen TV was an actual appliance. Super Nintendo or N64, when N64 came out, as soon as it all came out, still you had the crappy cars in the driveway. You get a trampoline in the backyard, that kind of stuff here. For people who never have a job. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Alright, I'm neglecting you guys, and I shouldn't be doing that. The Reveal of Liberty says, what has happened is really dark for many to most people. Some I know personally are struggling to be happy about anything. Many feel alone. I try to be a friend to those hurting over this all. Yeah, and I just did a big fundraiser for charity for suicide prevention because I know that's ripping through everywhere too. Because it is so dark for people. People, like, I'm used to being alone because of, various things that happen to me. over the past few years. I'm used to this at this point. It still sucks, but I'm used to it at this point. But yeah, there are people out there who went to work every day, had the social life, went out for drinks with their coworkers at the end of the day, and now they're locked in their homes. They can't go out for the drinks. They can't go out on the town. They don't see their coworkers every day, and a lot of them are sitting alone. Plus, some of them are unemployed on top of it, or underemployed, because, you know, they don't have to, for whatever reason, the boss doesn't feel that they have to pay them as much as they did while they're coming into the office every day. They're losing out on everything. Some of them are having repos happen to them. Plus, the rental, the eviction moratorium is, as of right now, as far as I understand, over. So these people are starting to look back at the fact that some of them have 12 or 13 months of back rent that they have to pay. I don't think that the majority of cases are 12 to 13 months of back pay or back rent. I don't think it's as bad as some of the doomsayers say it is, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't fucking blow. That doesn't mean that it doesn't fucking suck. And yeah, we do need to be checking on more of these people. I want to call more and more people just to make sure that everyone's okay. Especially the ones that I know that don't have a significant other, that do live alone, that had to go through a divorce, shit like that. Because we don't know. Because we're, especially in some of the more liberal states in this country, are still locked in our fucking homes. Yeah, absolutely. If you know somebody that's having trouble, absolutely be calling them. Thank you, Reveal of Liberty. That rocks, dude. All right, we are 33 minutes in. We still have 10 viewers. Can we get to 20? Can we get to 20? Reveal of Liberty says, that has happened the last 14 months. It really helps the human connection to not know others are alone. Yeah, absolutely. You rock, dude. Quest Banning says, if anyone calls, say Vandalay Industries. I don't know how that... Oh, my Twitch link is broken. Shit, that's right. I haven't changed that because I needed to do that yet. Okay, let me get the new Twitch link up because you're right. I changed the extension for my Twitch. Twitch.tv/JEdgar101. There it is. That's the new one. Sorry about that. Thank you, Random Randy. You reminded me that I do have to fix that one. Yep. A lot of Nightbot here. Quest Fanning says, my friend Tito quit his job after his mom died 2 years ago and hasn't gone back. I keep telling him that he's going to feel better when he gets back to work. It was a job that he enjoyed. What was the job, if you don't mind me asking? If he doesn't mind telling us what it is. But yeah, I don't understand. I love going to work. I know I'm fucking crazy in the head when I say that, but I love going to work. And as much as I'm starting to realize right now that I can't really go back and work under somebody else's schedule and then continue to do this, I'm getting to that point where I'm trying to be promotion for all the guys over on the Freedom Scoop side, and I want to do more to get those guys promoted. And doing this show every day, I'm starting to come to Jesus moment where I can't really work under somebody else's schedule anymore. So that's part of the reason I'm taking real estate classes too, because the housing market's going to pop really fucking quick. And I want to be there when people start running out and scrambling out and buying up some of these homes. I want a piece of that sweet fucking commission. I don't care. I'm a cutthroat. Call me a cutthroat. I'm a fucking cutthroat. I'll say it. I'll say it right out. But yes, I also understand the fact that there's no way that I can come back and continue down this path and working for somebody else. But that doesn't mean I like what I do, especially doing the shipping and receiving side of things where I work, because I get to organize what goes where. I have full control over my work area for the most part. I get frustrated when other people try to come in and do shit with it, but I have full control over my work area, what goes where. I know what comes in, everything passes through my hand, and I love doing the red tape paperwork. And I hope I do a little bit more red tape paperwork when I start selling houses too, because I love that. I really do. I love doing that shit. By the way, just a reminder, the call-in room is open if you guys hop in the Discord. If you'd rather have a voice call on some of the stuff, you can head on into the Discord server where I host the show. The link is in the chat and in the description. Come in there, hang out with us, and get in the call-in room and type pick me, and then I'll pull you into the live room and we'll have a conversation. That's always an option for you guys too. All right. Random Randy says, you can call me maybe. Terrible reference. Quest Fanning says the CDC was just ruled to have acted outside of its power with the eviction moratorium. It's over. There are a couple of states that have a stay on this. I don't know if there is a federal stay on this yet. I know they're trying. They're trying to at least get a stay until they can get a hearing about this to see if they actually did. I think you're right, though. I think the CDC acted outside of its power. But there's always a lawyer and a judge that are willing to, especially if you go judge shopping. So this could go through the Ninth Circuit. This could get put back in. There could at least be a stay put back on this. So keep that in mind, that this might not be over just yet. But yes, there are currently a lot of people who are in a breach of contract because they haven't been paying for 14 months, in spite of the fact that the moratorium was there. I think it was unconstitutional from the start. And the other question, because I don't know at this point, I know the eviction moratorium is supposed to be over, but I don't know if, like, I don't know if there. I have heard mixed stories about whether or not there was a mortgage moratorium too. I think in some places, I don't think that was federal, as much as they tried to do it. I don't think that it was a federal moratorium. I do think that that was a state-to-state area, because I know California has a mortgage moratorium on it. But even if it wasn't, like these places that aren't getting the rent because they can't evict people, as we're coming up on squatters' rights too, keep that in mind. We're coming close to squatters' rights period. I think that's 2 years. So we're not quite close to it yet, but we're getting there. Which at that point, you're pretty well socialized. You're pretty well socialized on your housing market if we get to mass squatters' rights for people who couldn't be evicted. So there's a lot of stuff to watch on this. But where I was going with that is, I mean, these landlords haven't paid the mortgage in 14 months if they're not getting any rent from any of their tenants. My landlord got my rent. I don't know. I don't want to speculate about anybody else in the building because that's between them and the people that own the building. I'm pretty sure that everybody in this building, though, has as well. If I had to guess, and that's pretty much all that I do here, I would say that everybody who lives in the same building as me has paid this entire month. They're all really responsible. I know they're all... let me rephrase it. I think they're all going to work, too. I don't think anybody in this building lost their job. Which is good, because then we can all keep the roof over our heads. But with that, there are other places, especially up in Madison, in liberal Madison, where, you know, they've all had this kind of stuff pumped in their heads. In Milwaukee, I bet you there is too, where you can't get evicted right now, so go worry about your other stuff. And, you know, these liberal kids that want the government to take care of them are probably running out and buying a bunch of stuff that goes, you know, that has nothing to do with survival or anything. There's going to be a big collapse, and I did actually speculate. I talked about this on Friday, if this is over, you're actually possibly going to see a lot of drop in rental prices, which you've seen a steady climb in there because so many millennials right now can't afford to buy. They either don't have the credit or they don't have a good enough job to go buy property right now. So they go and rent, which, you know, it's a seller's market for rental. They can keep raising the prices back up in some places. In some places they can't because, you know, in traditional small town like this, well, actually in my town, there are a lot of multifamily homes just to begin with too. So it's not just that there's a lot of places to rent, but, you know, once again, it's more in a small town, suburban town like this. more the idea of people want to go and they want to buy because that's what their parents told them to do. I would like to go buy. So, I mean, the rental rates are held down a little bit here just by an excessive supply of places to rent, but you know, in other urban places, there's a lot more demand. And that just lets the landlords go and just start creeping those prices up. I mean, I've talked about this numerous times. To rent this little place, 1 bedroom, a decent sized kitchen, I'll give them that. Decent sized kitchen, 1 bedroom, a nice studio that's really, really good acoustically. I'm going to miss the studio when I move out of here. But a nice studio that's very good acoustically. A single bedroom, $625. The same place would be almost $2,000 in Madison. Promise. Because there's a lot of demand for rental in Madison and not as much supply. I'm completely off the rails at this point. But yeah, there are a lot of foreclosures that come back out of this. I want to be on... I'm a cutthroat. I want to be on that market. I want to be the one selling the houses that people look and see the prices fall and say, hey, for 20 grand, that used to be 120 grand, I can afford that. Okay, sign here, sign here, sign here. I will take 3% of your purchase, please. Quest Fanning says, Tito worked at a customer service desk at JFK. Oh, he liked helping people. I'm sure that was a good job, too. For JFK especially, I'm sure that was a great job. That's not a minimum wage job by any stretch of the imagination, because you need to know your shit. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that that job requires a bachelor's degree in something. I don't know what it would be required in. Of course, it could be like that accounting firm up in Madison that I talked about going and working at, and say, hey, I'm good with math, and I actually know how to do accounting fairly well. What do you need to work here? It says, oh, you need a bachelor's degree. Oh, what do you need a bachelor's in? I'll go see what I can do to get that done. Oh, it doesn't matter. You just need a bachelor's degree. Oh. Well, that's kind of dumb. I have an associate's in auto repair. Yeah, we don't care what the major is. We just want to see that you had a bachelor's degree. All right, let's see. The Vandalay thing was George when he was at unemployment. Didn't want to... Yeah, I've never seen Seinfeld. I've seen a couple episodes here and there. I could never get into it. I've tried Seinfeld. I like the opening music. It just, the plot line could never hook me. It couldn't catch me. But I know that a lot of people my age like it, so I've tried it numerous times. I can't stay with it. I can't stay with Marvelous Mrs. Maisel either, which is this. That's actually the kind of program that I would like, but I can't stick with it. We're at 11 people, coming up on the last 15 minutes. Can we get 9 more people in here before 6:30, and then I'll go to 9. Then I'll go to 7 for 90 minutes. If we can get 9 more people, you guys. Let's see. Random Randy says, I appreciated the reference, Quest. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get it. Quest says, I'm trying to get into the Discord, but I'm having login issues. It's on my end. Yeah, I have those every once in a while, too. Random Randy says, would a landlord have been able to sell the property during the moratorium? I don't know. And that would once again depend on your state and locality, because that would still count as an eviction. I don't think that would be possible in Wisconsin. I think that in Wisconsin, because of the 30-day notice that's required for this, the landlord wouldn't be able to put a person back out on the street without proper notice. And I think he could possibly do it, but I can't think of any mortgage broker who would sign the mortgage. That's the thing. Like, I think you could legally sell the property if you could get a guy to pay cash for it, but I don't know of any broker that would broker the mortgage. Furthermore, and this comes to me starting to learn about real estate too, I can't think of any mortgage broker. I'm sorry, not mortgage broker. I can't think of any real estate broker that would broker the agreement with squatters inside who haven't paid. So even if it was technically legal to sell the property, to sell the deed, I can't think of any real estate broker that would broker that exchange. because that would be opening yourself up to a lot of lawsuits. Random Randy says, my bank got my mortgage payment. He also says, and the rent-controlled housing also drives up the price on any place that isn't controlled. I'm going to come out on full ignorance here, and I don't understand rent control. I know that's a big city thing. I've never lived in a place that was rent-controlled. I've never lived in a city that had rent control. I think there is rent control in Milwaukee, but I've never lived there. And then as far as whatever happened in Boston, I don't know, because I didn't live in Boston proper. I don't know if like the town that I lived in Massachusetts had rent control or not. I don't understand what rent control is. Unfortunately. You guys keep talking about this. Actually, I'll look into that later on today just so I'm educated into this. But yeah, as of right now, I don't know what rent control is. I know that demand and low supply drives prices up, and I think it has something to do with that. Like, your municipality comes out and tells you what you can and cannot rent for, despite what the demand is. But even still, I mean, from what I've heard about New York City, which I've never been to, and I've never looked into the housing market in New York City, from what I hear about New York City, the place that I live now would be like $3,000 to $4,000 a month in New York City, if all the rumors that I hear are true. And they might not be true. Alright, let's see, what else are we doing? Spartan says, I should rule planet Earth with absolute authority. That's a regular Spartan thing. Alright, I hear that Quest Fanning is in the Discord. Go into there's a waiting room. You'll see that on the left side. So get yourself into the waiting room, because then I can pull you into the call-in room. I see that you're here. I see you on the Pick Me channel. Yeah, you just have to get yourself into the voice waiting room, and then I can pull you in. So if you can figure out voice, you're golden. And that's the rest of you guys too can do that as well. So as long as you can figure out the voice, you're going. You can pop in. All right. What should I do in there? Yeah, I just told you now. Enter into the voice room. You'll see down onto the left-hand side. I don't know how it is for iOS, but you'll see over on the left-hand side, you'll have all the different channels in there, and then you'll have the voice channels. There is one specifically for the call-in show. You cannot get into the live room. I have to pull you into there. But if you can get into the waiting room, I can pull you into it. I have the live room locked out, so that I can prevent somebody coming in and screaming the N-word like we had when we had the phone number back on. Alright, Random Randy says, it's a basic price set by the government. Seawall says, Seawall, can you help Quest Fanning, by the way? Make sure that he can get them into the waiting room, because you understand Discord. It's basically a price set by the government. Okay. Rent controls a cap on how much you can rent the property for. Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh, there he is. He's ready. All right, we're gonna pull Quest Fanning in here, and he's gonna have a conversation with us. So let's bring him in. Quest Fanning, you're on the air.
You hear me?
I can hear you. What's up?
All right, cool. Yeah.
So what's on your mind? This is your time.
Hold on a second. I think the other window. 1 second here.
All right.
I was here in the background. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I got through. Yeah. What's it called? Yeah, no, I just wanted to, chat with you. That's all. I really didn't have anything particular in mind.
Well, this is your time, so I'll give you 5 minutes to come up with something, a topic. I know Spartan just brought one up into the chat. Are you for or against the death penalty?
Oh, against. Definitely against it. I mean, I for a long time I've had moral qualms with it, but but also from just purely practical standpoint, it's too fucked up. The way it's been applied, and it doesn't work.
See, I'm kind of mixed on the death penalty itself. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I understand, and I look back at the fact that these people out there, especially libertarians, will come out and brag about the fact that they will impose the death penalty on anybody who breaks into their house, their property. Sometimes they'll talk about it at a moment's notice in doing that. So my thought with the death penalty is at least the perpetrator gets a trial by jury. But now we're seeing, especially now that we have new technology where we can retry people, they're coming to find out that some of them were put together or put to death wrongly as well. So I'm about half and half on it.
Well, I mean, I think that it's the cold, calculating nature of having a punishment as opposed to a necessity. Like, if you break into my house and I'm going to kill you, it's because I don't want you to fucking kill me. You know, I don't want you to kill me, so I'm acting out of necessity. Once you capture someone, you have them shot, you have them in a cage. You don't really have to do anything, you know, to protect yourself from them.
Yeah.
You've got them in the cage. You've got them under your, subjugated by your control. At that point, you are making a decision that, I'm going to exact this punishment on someone. And honestly, that's the position that's God's purview, not, killing someone is God's purview, not ours.
Yeah.
Kill someone as a punishment. That's my opinion. But it's become a lot easier to say that I'm anti-death penalty recently because because how much has come out just, even if you can morally justify it, it's practically it's so as far as I use the word execution,
Yeah. No, I get that too, and it appears that like for coming in on like somebody coming into your property, it appears that you look at this on a more defensive position than I have seen a lot of other people come into this for. You seem to be more purely defensive on this, where I think there are some, and I'm not going to name names on this, that almost take a little bit of glee to the fact of, hey, come on to my property, I want to kill you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bravado there, like, I mean, and I mean, like, yeah, that's a little thick,
I got to address Instagram for a half a second because I've got Megan X Ann just joined me over on the Instagram side, and she can't hear you at all because you can hear everybody on the YouTube side, but I can't transmit this out to Instagram. So I do have a caller right now, Megan. If you want to hop in onto the Twitch, you can come and join us over there, and then you'll be able to hear my caller as well. So keep going, Quest.
Oh no, that was that's pretty much all I had to say there.
All right. Well, you're actually a little bit broken up right now, so I'm gonna pop you out of here. We're gonna go back to the live chat here. I'm gonna go see what these guys are saying. Looks like we're getting close to that 20-person mark too, by the way, which would be kind of cool.
Oh, so, all right, I'll get back in the chat room. Take care, man.
Yep, thank you. All right, that was Quest Fanning. A little bit of a jumbled connection, but I could make out for the most part of what he was saying, and I hope you guys could too. But yeah, that's what's going on over there. And thanks over on the Instagram side as well for coming in and hanging out with us. Let's see, what else do we have going on in the live chat over here? Random says, man, who let this noob in the voice chat? Hey, we let everyone in the voice chat. If you want to pop in the voice chat too, pop in there. Come and hang out. You can have your words read on the air too. The Discord, the link is in the description, so come on in and hang out. Let's see. Spartan says rent control can be a limit on the percentage of how much you increase the rent. Okay, yeah, that I could understand then. So if there's a limit onto that, but it's still a little bit weird to come back and see why supply and demand are not strictly dictating the market. I guess that's just the market aspect in me. Oh, apparently I look handsome tonight. I can see over on the Instagram side. Thank you. I like that. You guys in the main chats can, show a little bit of appreciation. I've been trying to keep my hair going out while it gets through the awkward phase. Somebody appreciates me. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Thanks for coming in and watching. We might just go for the 90 minutes for because I'm getting a lot more people coming in here, so we might just get the regular chat going here because I'm having fun, and we've only got 3 minutes left. So let's do that. Let's go until 7. Let's do that. Get a few more people in though. Still, that's your my gift to you is we're gonna go till 7. Your gift to me is you get more people in here. So let's do this. All right. So let's see. Bull Devon says, "Down with scurvy, drink more gin." Yeah, I've actually been taking a vitamin C supplement because I went through and I did keto for so long, and when you do keto, you get almost no vitamin C, but I did a collagen supplement while I was doing it because otherwise I was getting a little bit of scurvy. Oddly enough, it comes from lack of vitamin C. So there was that. Get back over here in the Discord so I can see if anybody else is coming in and hanging out with us. Random Randy says, "I think the problem is that too many of the really bad criminals are taken alive." Spartan says, "If they're in the cage, they can still kill people, the staff or other prisoners." Spartan says, "I would apply the death penalty to the murder of 2 people or more." Well, the thing with that too, and I mean, I look back, I do remember it was a Ron White sketch where he was talking about the Texas death penalty because if you the way that Ron White explained this, and this was way back in the 90s or early 2000s, he pointed out the fact that if in Texas, if you kill somebody and more than 3 credible witnesses see you do it, then you don't wait on death row, you move to the front of the line. Now, I still would open up the door for appeals. And yes, I have the concern that people get wrongly convicted and then they don't find out about it until after the punishment has been enacted. So I'm split on it. I do want people to have a trial by jury. I don't think that anybody should be the judge, jury, and executioner on anybody. I don't think any one person should be judge, jury, and executioner all in the same time. And I do understand the defensive position as well. So I guess it's a mixed bag for me. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Quest is back on the live chat. Random says, "Can I talk about a mobile game?" Yes, you can talk about a mobile game. You can talk about whatever you want. This is your time. This is absolutely your time. The Reveal of Liberty says, "I'm against the death penalty as I'm also against abortion. Both are murder." Well, that is one of the things that goes along with that too. And that's going to be something, honestly, since the discovery of abortion, I think that's going to be an argument we are going to be having until the end of time. I don't think that argument is ever going to leave our society. And I am on your side with that Reveal of Liberty, and I have actually heard compelling cases to the other side as well. I don't buy into them, and they have not swayed me, but I can understand where these people are coming from and why they believe what they believe. So with that, I don't know. I don't think that argument's ever going to go away. Honestly, I don't think the death penalty argument's ever going to go away either. I think we're going to be talking about that for forever until the end of time as well. I really do. Because it's one of those things. You don't know. And people have been making compelling arguments to both sides of it. There is a reason I'm 50-50 on it. Because I used to be all for it. I used to be absolutely all for it. All right. Let's see, what else do we have going on over here? Looks like we are down to 8 people watching live right now. Looks like we've had a lapse in the conversation here. Let's see. Quest says, "Pedos should be treated differently than other criminals. Whatever the terms of their punishment, there should be priority that they cannot commit their crime again. Chop off their junk." A little bit excessive, but I understand where you're coming from. The worst part of that is really honestly, there's more than one way to do that though, and if you've got that sickness in your head, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the banning the guns argument. If you've got that sickness in your head, what was the first murder weapon? It wasn't an AR-15. It wasn't a handgun. According to the Bible, what was the first murder weapon? It was a rock. A rock was the first thing that one man used to kill another man. That's how Cain killed Abel, was with a rock. Let's see. But you can eliminate every single gun on the face of the planet. You can get rid of every gun out there. Just completely, full cloth, eliminate every one of them. And you're still going to have the spirit in the heart of the person who wanted to kill somebody. That makes them want to kill somebody. You can chop off every pedophile's penis in the world. And some of them will just use their fingers. Or mouths. Because it's not about feeling good. It's about the control in a lot of the cases. It's about the control that they have over their victims. It's the same thing with spousal abuse. It's rarely because the dinner was cold. It's about control. I know, I've been on the other end of it. I've been on the wrong end of that side. It's about control. That's what it's always been. So you can disfigure, injure somebody, take away every single gun in the universe, take away every single knife in the universe. You can have the Britons chopping up their tomatoes with the back of their hand, like Pat Morita, karate chopping their tomatoes up, and you're still going to have that spirit where people want to cause harm. This got really fucking dark really quick. Let's put some music back on. If I can find my control bar. I'm so excited to have 4 screens running. I'm going to have 4 screens once the new one gets built. And I've got my graphics card here. I've got my hard drives here. I got to send something back out, and I'll get RAM here. So all I'm going to need to do is get a motherboard. I've got a case too. So I'll need to get a motherboard and a processor and a power supply. And there's one other thing to that too. And by the way, if you guys hit one of the donate links, you can come in and donate to the show and help me get that computer just a little bit faster. I appreciate it too. I think it rocks when you guys do that kind of stuff. You guys rock anyway for coming in and hanging out with me today. Alright, let's see what else we got going on here. 80s Kid is here, which from what I understand, 80s Kid is a friend from across the pond, which means, dude, it's got to be super late where you are. So props to you for coming and hanging out, by the way. Absolute props for that. If it's cold-blooded murder or killing children or old folk, I would favor the death penalty. Once again, my big thing is the fact that they get a trial by jury instead of just judge, jury, and executioner happening as they're committing the crime. If you're coming from a defensive position, it's different, but I do think that if we go with the death penalty, we do have to sit back and there have to be caveats to it. It can't just be all one thing, and for the most part, a lot of this is going to be a case-by-case basis. We can't do all in one or all in the other. But that's the same way I look at everything. Spartan says a rock probably was what it was in reality, too. Well, you don't think the Bible is reality, Spartan? I get you, though. Yeah. Even no matter what, even if Darwin was correct, or if Moses was correct, or Abraham was correct, I should say, because no, Moses was after Abraham. So yeah, whether Darwin was correct or Abraham was correct, it was probably still a rock either way. Ban rocks! Spartan says, I think prisoners should be treated fairly since some people are in single-person cells. Well, that's where we go with that, too. But you can't really put people up into solitary either. Plus, you don't really have the space for single-person cells, and then we start to move into government spending or for-profit prisons, both of which I'm very staunchly against. Quest says, sorry you went through that. Yeah, well, it happens. It really does. You can sit and dwell on it forever, or you can learn your lesson from it and move on from it. Spartan says prison in the U.S. is pretty hellish often. Yeah, it is. It sure is. The Reveal of Liberty says, the mind of evil is so complicated and hard to understand because good likes to help, evil likes to hurt, and why evil exists at all is an ongoing question for people. Evil chooses nothing but hurt. Well, there's another side to that too, and with that, and he says, and so why evil exists, I'm not sure why it does. Well, there's something else you have to keep in mind with good and evil. And I'm going to use the Karate Kid, which I just recently saw for the first time this year, by the way. I'm going to use the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai as my example for this. Now, in the Karate Kid, it's very obvious who you are supposed to be supporting. Daniel LaRusso is the good guy. He does everything right. He goes out to try and help his mother. He's a good egg. He comes in. And this is the story that you're told. He fights fairly. And he lives a life of balance. Now in Cobra Kai, which that actually stemmed from an episode of How I Met Your Mother. And I realized that pretty quickly after I started watching Cobra Kai. With Cobra Kai, it is such a morally great program. Both Daniel and Johnny do a lot of stuff that's evil. So do both of their kids. So does the kid that Johnny's mentoring. Everybody does something in the program at some point off there that you would consider to be evil at some point. But for the most part, if you look at their actions, they're trying to help out or make somebody proud, or for the most part, they're trying to help. They're trying to do what they think is right. Even if at the time you look at it and say, this was wrong and that person shouldn't be doing that. So a lot of times when there is evil going on, the person thinks that what they're doing is right or the best thing. It's harder to find instances of pure evil. Even my ex that mentally tortured me and pushed me towards the end of towards the edge of taking my own life thought that she was doing what was right for her in a very, very twisted sense of the word, but thought that she was doing what was right. It sucks that it had to happen that way, but she thought what she was doing was right for her situation at the time. The Reveal of Liberty says, like scammers, what's the point of existence? It hurts only. Why are they here? I understand the question I've said here. Well, one of the things that they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that they get food on the table. It may not be honest, but, look at the situation. Is there somebody starving in there? Or are they trying to get rich off somebody else's back? It could go either way. It could be out of desperation. It could be out of greed. The greed would probably be more evil than the desperation. 80s Kid says, in 1985, my brother's daughter was killed by a drug addict. He got 5 years due to diminished responsibility. She was only 3 years old. Yeah, that's a little shitty. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I really am. That's terrible. Let's see, 80s Kids. Oh, Randy's in the waiting room. Shit, I didn't even see that before. Randy's in the waiting room. Let's bring Random Randy in here. Let me dial back the volume here. This is going to work a lot easier when I have 4 screens, I can tell you that. Alright, let's bring him in here. Random Randy, you're on the air.
Hey!
Ooh, mute that stream.
Sorry about that. Oh no, it's not the stream. You're literally hearing yourself through my headphones, I guess.
Oh.
Try to talk now.
1 2 1 2.
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I did pretty much yell "hey" in like a really over dramatically enthusiastic way. So it might have been that.
What's on your mind, Randy?
Well, all right. So because Quest commented on my amazing name, which I cannot unfortunately take credit for. The other day, I was in this Call of Duty mobile live stream or whatever, and we were all waiting for the guy we watch more or less daily to show up. And one of my buddies from the clan was like saying something like, "Hey, are you excited about Apex Legends?" And then someone's like, "Hey, are you excited about this?" And I go, "Hey, are you guys excited about the new iteration of Candy Crush?" And everyone's like, "No, nobody's excited about Candy Crush." And then my buddy's like, "Oh my God, Randy Crush Saga." And I'm like, "That's amazing." So I had to change the gaming channel to that. But anyway, so I have a big sad story.
Go ahead.
So I was at work last Friday, and I got notification that the closed alpha testing for Diablo Immortal was accidentally open. And if you could go and download it from the Australian servers, you would be able to create an account.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God. I told my buddy at work, I was like, hey, I might have to leave early. I can go download Diablo Immortal. And he starts laughing. I say, I know, I'm joking. So anyway, I go through work, whatever, no big deal. I get home, and first date night this year so far was that night. So went out on a date with the wife. Kids were gone, whatever. Get home, and I'm like, all right, Diablo Immortal, you are mine. Nope. They realized their mistake and closed it. And if I would have gone home early, which I have time to do, I don't ever take time off.
Right.
I would have it right now, but instead, I don't. And it's so sad because this game should have been out about a year ago, and it's been completed, like done, for almost 2 years now. But they got a lot of bad flack because everyone expected them to announce Diablo 4, and instead they announced the Diablo mobile game. Mm-hmm. So to say the least, PC users were not happy. They were trying to wait for that, and then they were waiting for COVID, I think, and I don't know, whatever. Yeah, dude, such a big sad moment. Like,
F in the chat for Diablo Immortal. Now, I actually have not played a Blizzard game. Well, I take that back. I've played Blizzard games since the Blitzchung side of this, and I was a big Diablo fan when I was younger. But right now, because of the Blitzchung thing and the support for China over Hong Kong, I've not been able to bring myself to buy anything else from Blizzard.
Well, see, I have this weird. Maybe you actually know. I have this weird problem where I'm not a fan of Activision generally. But I am a fan of Blizzard. Now, not particularly due to their, like you were saying with the Chinese involvement stuff. Mm-hmm. But, I played Warcraft 2, StarCraft 2, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Diablo 3 expansion, all this stuff. I played World of Warcraft for longer than I'm happy to admit. That's where the name Random Randy actually comes from. Not from the game, but I literally created that character to run random dungeons because queuing as DPS caused me to sit for 45 minutes at a time, just waiting for something to start. Okay. So I made a tank character, and I was like, I'm going to use him for random dungeons. So I'm going to call him random something. And then I'm like, I literally just picked Randy because of the alliteration.
Okay.
No other real reason. And I'm like, oh, Random Randy was born. But I have this problem where the nostalgia runs deep in the veins, but the distaste for Activision Blizzard Inc. is palpable.
Yeah, I actually do. Does Battle.net still work for Diablo 2? Because I've been tempted a few times.
No, even if it did, it won't now because they are currently re-releasing Diablo 2 with a remastered edition. So if it was running, they will definitely have shut that down.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I want to go through all the boxes of all the stuff that I have from the last time I moved and see if I can find all the discs for Diablo.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet I have the discs floating around because even though I know that they would be useless to me physically, You know, again, the nostalgia of it, I probably would have kept it. I don't know where it would be. But, yeah, people were like, oh, hey, you know, people who know I'm waiting for Diablo Immortal, like, hey, are you going to play Diablo 2 Remastered? I'm like, no, not even a chance. Because my active Blizzard account, Battle.net account, shows that I had Diablo 2, so it's that old.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even get a discount off of Diablo 2 Remastered, and it's like $65. No thanks. Sorry, I'm not going to pay $65 for it to just look a little better.
Mm-hmm.
On the verge of Diablo 4 and Diablo Immortal. Why would I do that? Like that's literally crazy. I've said literally so many times. It's not really how I talk either. So I'm probably somehow nervous to talk to people I don't see.
Well.
But yeah, you know, someone tried to tell me. So the Call of Duty streamer that I was following, Activision owns Call of Duty, right? Mm-hmm. Activision owns Blizzard, to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But my streamer, he actually got the invite to the alpha test for the Diablo Immortal alpha test, which is kind of awesome for him, but kind of sad because he literally, I did it again, has no time to play it because he has to play Call of Duty all the time. And it's one of the problems with being a game streamer is that if you are like a major game, like if you were streaming a League of Legends and all your followers followed you watching League of Legends, you will not be able to switch to another game.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible because they are watching you to see what you can do in League of Legends. Whereas like the guy I'm watching for Call of Duty, he has retained an audience through switching games, mm-hmm. but he understands now that he's at like 140,000. He was at like 30,000 when I found him. He understands that half of that following is not going to follow him to a new game.
Yeah.
So he played Diablo Immortal on one stream, but pointed out that he just doesn't have the time to play it. So he has a key for an account that's just sitting there inactive. When if I would have just gone home so I could download the game on Wi-Fi, I would have an account too.
Nice.
And so that's upsetting. And by upsetting, you got to understand, for all those who think I'm super serious, a lot of what I say is kind of a grand joke. So I call myself professionally casual. Just a sec, buddy. My kids call me. I call myself professionally casual. And the idea is that I work 40 plus hours. I have 3 small children, 7 and under. And yet I play my games at a level of seriousness that you would expect a pro to play at. Mm-hmm. And so this one time I was sitting at work talking politics actually with a friend who moved to Portland right before the Chaz stuff. Hilarious. But anyway, talked politics with him, and I was playing Minion Rush, which is, you know, tempo run. It's one of those runner games where you have 3 lanes to go. Yes, sweetheart. Not you. I did not call J. Edgar sweetheart, for the record. Anyway, so she's almost 2. So you got these 3 lanes, and you got to avoid stuff and, you know, run endlessly, essentially. But there's, like, objectives and stuff like that, right? And so I was playing this game, Minion Rush. And it's, you know, clearly a game made for kids, but all the adults are topping all the charts and whatever.
Right.
And it does the same thing that every other game does. And it has to connect with your friends on Facebook. I'm like, you know, whatever, click. And I see a friend from high school, and she played the game, you know, whatever. And then a lot of people, what happens is they have a shit score, and then they never turn it on again, so you never see any. Well, what I was noticing was that her really bad score was getting a little better, but like so unacceptably bad that how could you be playing that game and only going up by like a few steps when basically by the time you have control of your character, you have that many steps. And so I was ranting, because you don't know me enough yet, but Random Randy Rants is a thing.
Nice.
And I was ranting to my friend at work about how I don't understand how you could, like, I'm like, look, I didn't even look. I just ran in one direction. I didn't dodge anything, and I got a higher score. So it's like, how are you progressing? Which shows that you're actually playing, but also not making any real progress. And so Oh, that's weird. Sorry. So he was like, "Whoa, dude, calm down." And I'm like, "I'm just saying, if you're gonna play the game. Otherwise, don't." You know. He's like, I'm like, "I don't even know how you play this bad." And so the joke was that, dude, you take this stuff way too seriously. And then I have, like what I would call guides for how to play a game like an idle game, but to play it way too seriously. And so like I break down the idea of if you should double your reward by watching an ad that could be up to 45 seconds versus just letting it tick. But yes, bud, you absolutely should do Woody Woodpecker. Good choice. Anyway, speaking of movie, so that's how like ridiculous I get with it, because there's all these games where it's an idle game, you don't really pay attention to it, but then there's a kind of like a prestige thing where you reset to 0, but like you want to do it early at first, but then you want to do it later when you're later progress and stuff like that. And it's funny because like I've overthought this and actually run math and stuff like that, and so that's my whole shtick. And I currently have a phone that has a 3 gigahertz processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and because I run it as long and graphic intensive as I do, I built a custom liquid cooling case for it.
Nice.
I had this pump at my house. It's a little tiny pump that didn't fit the bill for whatever we bought it for. And I was like, I bet I could take copper, solder it to a copper plate, stick that against the back of it, and run tubing to it with this pump. So I have a laundry pod container that I have my pump in with water, and I'll throw ice in there if I'm feeling crazy. And then I've got 2 tubes coming out of that into this this back plate. I put that like professional grade thermal thermal padding. I bought this, was way too expensive. I mean, I probably paid more for this thermal God, that's something in my throat. Probably paid more for this thermal pad than I would have paid for like a legitimate case. All really more like a goof, because the idea is like, this guy's so serious and he put so much effort into this that he handmade a case keep his phone cool, even though it doesn't generally get like hot to a bad level. I just don't want it to. That's another thing, fun fact. Pretty much if your phone is hot at all, well, okay, if your phone feels warm, you're probably running at about a 20% decrease in its capability. And if your phone feels hot, you're probably pushing half of the capability of your phone. So one of the things that I make the comment is people are playing Call of Duty Mobile and they'll end up playing it for like 2 hours straight and their phone's on fire because they have a Samsung S10 plugged in and that phone like almost catches fire. Previous iteration did, but the thing feels like a fireball in your hand, and it's going to actually hinder you when you're talking about a competitive-based game like Call of Duty. I mean, if you're playing Genshin Impact or some sort of like Diablo for that matter, it's probably not really going to matter. But right, it's just funny because
we got to start wrapping it up here though, because I got to start.
Oh yeah, I'm just trailing off now. But yeah, I just take my mobile gaming seriously. I wanted to tell you about my epic fail. That's pretty much all I called for.
All right, well, thank you for calling in. We're going to catch up with the rest of the live chat here, but you rock, and we will see you on the next set.
See you in the live chat.
Contemporary, too, so take care.
Bye, folks.
All right, that was Random Randy. I thought I kicked him into the waiting room. I guess he must have jumped out at the same time, too. So thanks for the call, Random Randy. And if you guys do want to call, we're not going to take any more calls at this point, but you see the Discord link that's passing through the live chat. You can get in the Discord and you can come hang out next time, and you can call in as well. So we always take calls off there. Random Randy just joined me over on Twitch too, so he actually gets alerts for when we're on. So that was fun. That was a good show. All right, let's catch up with you guys and let's head on out of here because I got some ribeye because I'm going to be making myself some Philly cheesesteak stuffed peppers coming up here later on tonight, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. So we gotta wrap this up here. All right, where did we leave off? Randy says he's in the voice chat rating room. Quest threw the F up for the 80s kid. Spartan says, without evil, you would have a hard time understanding what good is. Quest Fanning says, Randy Crush Sock. I missed that apparently, because I can't see that in my chat. Let's see. 80s kid says he beat her and killed her. Well, F in the chat for that too, because that's lame. Spartan says lower the music please, which we got that taken care of. 80s kid says my brother's girlfriend was cheating with a guy, so my bro left her. The guy got drugged and beat her. She was on life support for 3 days, but they couldn't save her. It still haunts us now. Yeah, that's terrible to see. F's in the chat for that. F's in the chat for 80s kid. I am sorry to hear that too. And you can. This is your time, so you can darken the chat as much as you want. This is audience time, and you guys can talk about whatever you want. I came in here talking about Biden's failure as a president. Now we're talking about video games and crime in the UK. Anything can happen on Ed Talk. Spartan says StarCraft 2 Master Race. Yeah, I actually wanted to open up StarCraft 2 again and start playing again just so I can move up. I never got past regular easy level on StarCraft, and I want to go do that, see if I can get up to where I'm doing hard level, so I can actually be competitive if I do start playing multiplayer. Because I like StarCraft 2. I like StarCraft Original too, but I like StarCraft 2. I had a big glitching problem on StarCraft 2 on one of my desktops. I was impressed with Blizzard's ability to fix it. That's interesting. I've never had that problem. Quest says, don't be sorry. Support and share. We're a community. There's not much we can do, but let you know that we're here for you. Absolutely. Reveal of Liberty says, here's a question for all. Vice City or 5, which is better to others? Well, I don't have anything that'll run 5, so I have no experience with 5. I can tell you that Vice City on desktop is a pain in the prick. And there's no real way to change it over for a controller. I'd like to see if I can find a copy of it for PS2, because I have one of those, and play it and see just how it's supposed to go. But the way the cars steer on a keyboard is a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ever-loving fucking prick. But doing like the ground control, like your character walking around, is actually not that bad, just because I'm used to playing Fallout Vegas, and it actually runs the same way. Quest Fanning says, my daughter Franny handed me one of my 3.5-inch discs from college the other day and asked, what is this? Yeah, why did somebody 3D print the save icon? I've heard that one before. Quest Fanning says, moving too forward. Yeah, lame. 80s Kid says, I used to love playing on the Amiga, best days. My son is 18, he lives on the PS4, it's his life. I've never played a PS4. Spartan says, 80s, my first computer was an Amiga 500. I don't know what an Amiga is, but I'll have to look into that as well. I have to look up Rent Control and Amiga. That's my assignment for the end of the stream. Quest says, we always had computers in my house growing up. I didn't start using them for homework until I was 8, back in 88. So it was an 88. Yeah, we had an old DOS one. We had that up until pretty much my dad decided to get the internet in the house. And then he got something that had Windows on it. But yeah, the old DOS one was... That's how I learned how to do everything. And then realized that I could just point and click everywhere. 80s says, Amiga was awesome. That's what I had. Lotus Turbo Challenge, Fuzzball, Cannon Fodder, Super Frog, Micro Prose, F1. Some great games on the Amiga. The first console we had was in 1979, Atari 2600. Yeah, Randy's stealing the show. Randy was cool. He was cool. I was not born yet in 1979. Quest says, trying to remember the name of it, but the first gaming one I had was a Texas Instrument. We've got some F's in the chat for the 80s kid. Spartan says, I love the arcade section in StarCraft 2, games made by people. Random Randy says StarCraft 2 Tower Defense. I've never tried Tower Defense, but I'd be willing to learn. 80s Kid says I have 35 PS2 consoles. I collect them. I have one. Alright, and Random Randy is going to get the last word today. He says, I forgot to say that I was hating on Candy Crush due to it being a random number generating game. All match games are a scam. Yes, they are. They very, very much are. I like item clickers myself. I play a couple different ones. And I seem to enjoy them because I can set them down and walk away from them and come back to them when I have time, which is increasingly never. The harder I work and the more stuff I take on. So that's going to be it for the day here. Let's switch the music, shall we? All right, well, thanks everybody who came by and hung out. Megan Ann over in the Instagram chat, Random Randy, Quest Fanning, Spartan, Boulder Vaughn was over here for a little bit, 80s Kid, the Nightbot in here being helpful as well, Random Randy joining us over on the Twitch side as well. Who else did we have in here? We had a bunch of other people, so yeah, that's really cool. You guys, Reveal of Liberty, that's a new name in here, so welcome on in. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Thanks. I hope you guys. I hope you'll come back for Contemporary and the Red Net Show too. That'd be really awesome of you. So we will see you there. Otherwise, yeah, it looks like that's everybody here. So thanks everybody who came and hung out. We'll be back here on Monday for more Contemporary, more news headlines, and it already looks like we've got ourselves a doozy of a show for Monday. Plus, we will be back for the Red Net Show as well, coming up on Monday. That is at 5:30. We will not have our guest. I have not had a confirmation back from her, so she will not be sitting in with us. But we still have 2 hours of action-packed news to go over with you guys throughout the day, so come back and hang out with us. That will be on all channels. Remember, if you join in on DLive or the Twitch, you will get alerts that you cannot apparently get on YouTube as well. So otherwise, we're still moving back towards getting that 7 a.m. start time. Definitely looking forward to that. Love to see you guys. Love the fact that you guys came and hung out. And if you think I did a good job, throw a tip my way. Or you can go check out my friends over on the Freedom Scoop Network, The Generational Gap, The Daily Ignoramus, The Breakdown with Birkenhoff, The R-Rated Conservative, and The Freckles and Brit Show. The R-Rated Conservative is back at a new time on Monday, so go over there and check him out as well. Otherwise, go check everybody else out on our network. I am going to get up and go start making myself some Philly cheesesteak stuffed peppers. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to that all day, so maybe I'll throw you guys some recipe. Maybe I'll throw you guys some pictures of it too as we come off of here as well. So check out the Instagram, instagram.com/jedgar102 for pictures of my cooking. Come back and hang out for that. You can also find a replay of this program over there. You can check us out on the audio platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. Go and check us out over there. Check us out on the Freedom Scoop Media Group. Subscribe to all the channels and come back and hang out with us next time. Until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and thank you for coming on my Ed Talk. Take care.